18 days after Barbie butt surgery, and here's the update. I'm still spending a lot of time resting and in bed, but I'm also trying to get up a little bit more and like move around the house, but with limitations. I did put makeup on yesterday and today, and I feel like that helped like perk me up a little bit more, but I'm still having breakthrough pain even through my pain meds at times. It's not all the time that I feel the like pain and discomfort. Actually, yeah, it is. It's just not as strong as it would be if I wasn't taking pain meds. But on Wednesday, I'll be getting my stitches out of my butthole incision area, and then I'll also be getting my drains out of my abdomen, so all of this shall go away. I finally peeled off the glue that was on my laparoscopic incisions, and what kind of freaked me out was the fact that they are like open on the surface. Like if I spread my skin, they'll kind of like go bloop. But I also know that those kind of scars heal from the inside out, so I think we're fine. It just oozes a little bit sometimes, which is gross, and it's also why I have like little gauze on there just to catch any ooze. I told you I'm going to tell you all the things for this one, so you won't be surprised like I was. My hope is that after I get my stitches out on Wednesday, I'll be able to sit a little bit, at least like even if I'm on one cheek or something. Right now it's just totally impossible, and I'm pretty much just laying on one side or the other. But what's really annoying is like my drain tube being on my left side so far over, it's hard to lay on that side and be comfortable. So I'm excited for that to come out, and hopefully I'll keep, progressing. We'll keep moving forward. If you're new here, I had severe ulcerative colitis for about 16 years until I finally had surgery to remove my large intestine and get an ileostomy bag. During that surgery, they ended up leaving my rectal stump in place. I still had mucus and a little bit of blood coming out of there pretty regularly, and I would like poop it out. I get the urge to like go poop out of that butthole. Well, fast forward to having the ostomy bag for about 4.5 years. My ostomy bag behaves very well, and so I knew that I always wanted to make my ostomy bag permanent, and the way you make it permanent is by removing the rectum and sewing up the butthole. I was having a lot of pain, bleeding, and urgent bathroom trips, like I'm talking more than 10 a day in the last 6 months. It was debilitating. It started affecting the way that I could even show up as a mom and even do anything in life. That's what ultimately led me to having this surgery, so that I could finally no longer have those symptoms. I've got a long way to go with this recovery, and that's normal. Typically, people will start to feel totally better around 8 to 12 weeks. So we're in it for the long haul, and I'm just trying to do little things that help me make me feel better, and kind of like, maybe I'm gonna get there quicker than I want to, but I also need to pump the brakes and just realize that if I can heal correctly the first time, then the long run, I'll be better off. But I feel like I got a little life in me, and I'm feeling really excited that we're getting somewhere, even with all the hurdles that I've gone through. We're headed to my follow-up appointment. Daddy's driving. So far, I'm actually surprised that I was able to sit. I'm mostly on like one cheek, of course. That car ride ended up being quite painful, and as you can see, I have a hard time getting out of vehicles, but I did speed this part up because I knew it would take a long time. This, however, is the true speed that I walk at, and I thought I was actually walking fast here. We got here really early, so we had to sit for a while, which sucks when you have stitches in your butt. Sitting sucks. Hopefully that'll change after the stitches come out. Okay. Unfortunately, still got the drains, got quite a bit of fluid coming out still, so we'll be back next week and hopefully get that out. Still have the stitches in too. He just wants to keep everything together for as long as possible. I'm disappointed, but it is what it is, and I feel like I'd rather have it be like totally healed and better than doing it too soon. He wanted to make sure I had less than 20 cc's coming out of my drain in a 24-hour period before pulling it, because he said, if all that fluid is sitting in my pelvis, that could start to try to come out of my like rectal incision. So that makes sense. I wouldn't want that to happen, and that could really interfere with healing too. So another week with the drain sucks because it's uncomfortable, but also definitely has a good reason to be there. And then even keeping the stitches in place, you want to make sure it like heals really well from the inside out, because it's a tricky area to heal. So all the reinforcements to keep that tissue together is a smart plan. And honestly, it'll make me continue to rest more, because having the little pokey stitches in there is a great reminder to not want to get up and move around too much, moving around is good. You know, getting a little bit of movement and activity in is good and will help with the healing, but there's also an easy way to overdo it, and I am one that leans more towards doing too much activity. So, and then that sets me back. So, all in all, not what I was hoping for today's appointment, but one more week, hopefully, is all we'll have with this drain pump and the stitches in. And, you know, in the long run, this is just a blink in time. So, more healing time.
I make the face.
And I make the sound. 2, 3.
Excuse me. Oh, baby.
Are you talking to me? Day 23 after surgery, and boy, do I have an update for you. I don't know why. I do know why. This whole recovery is a roller coaster. The last update that I did was at the doctor's office when I thought I was going in to get my stitches taken out and my JP drain pulled, and I was just having too much fluid coming out of my JP drain that my doctor didn't feel like it was the right time to do it. So we made a different appointment for next Wednesday. Thank goodness that he listened to his gut and decided, you know what, we're not going to pull it too early. We're just going to leave it in, because what's the harm? Leaving it in a little bit longer, and then we can really see if your volume is going down. Now, mind you, typically they will pull the JP drain out once you're under 25 cc's in a 24-hour period, and like more than just one day of it being like that. When I went in, I was like right at the cusp. Like I had 25 cc's in the previous 24 hours, but just before then it was like 30, 40, somewhere in that ballpark for the whole day. So that evening, after I got home from the doctor's, I went to bed like normal, you know. I ended up having to get up 5 times that night to empty my ostomy bag. Typically, I only get up like once a night to empty it, but it was like full and started to become just straight liquid, and I could tell like, oh crap, I have my version of diarrhea. I always know it's a diarrhea, like a sickness, when it is more foul smelling. Like you just know, it's like that smell, you know? And then the rate at which it's coming out of my body and the volume of fluid that's coming out of my body. So not only did I have the horrendous diarrhea, I was nauseous. I had so much fluid coming into my JP drain. I emptied 40 cc's at like 5:30 a.m. and then at 9:30 a.m., 4 hours later, mind you, I emptied 60 cc's. So then I started to freak out, and I luckily emailed my doctor right away. I also threw up once. So I was like, I definitely have a stomach bug or something, but like, is it more serious because I have so much volume coming out of my JP drain? Like, is something going wrong? Luckily, I literally have the best doctor in the whole world. Like, I'm so grateful for him. He responded to my email super quickly and was like, just watch it. As long as it's clear liquid coming out of your JP drain, it's okay. Like, it is a lot, but you'll be okay. He said, just make sure that if you start to feel like you're getting too dehydrated, like if you can't keep fluids down, make sure that you go in and get IV fluids ASAP. So luckily, and then he also recommended obviously like electrolytes, all of that, anything to try to like keep from getting dehydrated, because so much volume was coming out of me on all the parts that like there's no way I even took that in the previous 2 days combined. Like it was bad. And so I didn't share that with you as I was going through it, because I was like, I don't know what the result's going to be, and I don't want to scare anybody, you know, who's going through the same thing or going to be going through all of this. Because to be honest, I don't think this is a normal post-surgery recovery experience. I have just literally, I was like, I'm going to segue here a little bit. I was like, I'm going to share every part of my recovery, good and bad, because the last time when I had ileostomy surgery, I really only shared like the highlight reel. And so I truly don't remember if like that recovery was just easier or I was just blindsided by only sharing the good parts. And I feel like the ileostomy surgery was easier overall. This one is a whopper. It is so much more intense and requires me, I'm still in bed, you guys. I'm still laying in bed most of the time. I am getting up and walking around more and doing more things, which is good, but it does require a lot more recovery than I thought. And I actually had a mentee be about it the other day, but regardless, what was I talking about? Fluids. Yeah, so I was able to finally like keep everything down, and we did ginger ale, electrolytes. I've been drinking Element, LMNT. That seems to be the best choice over like Gatorade, Liquid IV, any of those rehydration things. Element is far superior. And I think it's because it has magnesium in it. This is what my IV nurse, who has come to my house and done IVs for me before, she was telling me that that's actually a better brand because magnesium helps you keep the water in, so it actually like works to rehydrate you. Luckily all the fluids stopped or slowed their exit out of me. And then I still have quite a bit coming out of the JP drain. Like I had what was it, like 150 cc's come out in Thursday alone during the day, like from 5 a.m. till I don't know, bedtime, which is crazy. And then yesterday I had about just under 100, so 95. So good, we're going in the right direction. And now today it seems to be like way less. So we're approaching back down to normal where it shouldn't be as much coming out of me. So thank the Lord that he did not pull the JP drain, because all of that would have been sitting in my pelvis. And then who knows, you know, I would have been in a way worse off situation if we would have just like gone ahead and pulled it out. So anyway, we are on the upswing. I'm happy that we seem to be over the whole stomach flu thing, and I'm telling you, this whole freaking recovery has been mountains and valleys. I try to have a good attitude about it and be my smiley self, because I do feel like being positive helps. I feel like it helps you recover quicker and get through the bowl a little bit easier. Yep, that's what I have for you today.